super strong because the sun is pretty, it goes straight into the sky. I love rainbows. It's always so pastoralic and beautiful, and gives this feeling of divine spirit in the sky, right? Okay, so the rainbow is off, as you can see. So this is Costa Rica in the morning. You've seen it in some other vlogs, but now we are in Jaco, on the way to Jaco. Jaco is a surf town close to San Jose, to the capital, 2 hours away from the capital. And it's a busy, it used to be a very, I mean, not bad, but wild beach town with a lot of parties, drugs, prostitution, all kind of shit. Right now is pretty mellow and it's pretty condensed, but the town is more clean in terms of crime and all that, and all the services is there. And it's not a bad town. 36 kilometers from Jaco, so it's still far. But Costa Rica become more safe, more organized, more civilized, more culturalized, and better for the tourists. There's still problems for tourists, thefts, localism, as you can see, like I've been bullied now, and some other stuff. But in general, it's an easy country to travel. It's pretty convenient. Transportation is pretty good. There's buses everywhere. I don't think they have trains, but I know they have buses. I don't know about trains, but I know they have buses. And some of the roads are getting much better. It used to be much worse. And the view is always the same, beautiful. It's hot. Today it's not raining, it's good. Looks like it's going to be a bright day. Yeah, life goes on. I remember a very interesting story for me, I don't know for you, but I had to fly from Israel to Beijing and then to Shaolin Temple, and then after I flew to Fiji and France and Korea and all kind of places. Look at the view, so beautiful, huh? And I remember I got to Beijing and I had a train like around 10 p.m. and I didn't sleep like for already like 40 hours, and I had another train ride of 8 hours and then another ride on a taxi for another 2 hours or hour and a half, and then a walk to the temple because the cars couldn't go in. They made like a reserve there. So that was like another 10 hours all over, or maybe more. And I was tired. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna get to the train, I'm gonna get me a boot to sleep, on the worst case an open boot. I didn't figure it out. That the train is full, there's no room for anything, and if I want to go today and not the next day, I have to get on the train. There's no spots. They pushed me into the train. There were so many people all over, so they can hardly close the door. Me and a few guys have been pushed by the clerk, or the police officer who was standing out there, the train officer. And I was smashed between like 3-4 guys on both sides with my suitcase. And I had to stand, man. Not only I didn't have a seat, there's no way for you to do anything, and you will have to stand now for 8 fucking hours after being awake for 40 hours on airplanes and transitions, and the whole day I didn't sleep before the flight. That was crazy. So I finally managed to sit on my suitcase. So I sat on my suitcase for like 2 hours. Then after 2 hours there was a station, so a few people dropped off. And there were chickens in the train, and all those farmers, it stinks like hell, and nobody opened any kind of window. And then one guy decided to smoke, and then we got pissed on him, so we opened the window, the whole train almost flew. That was crazy. And then a few people left, So there was a little gap on the floor, so I managed to sleep on the floor. Now, you know, the floor in China, everybody spit on it, put their ashtray on it. I mean, the ashes from cigarettes. That was dirty like hell. I was so tired, I didn't give a damn. I said, I'm sleeping here, no matter what. So I went to sleep. Now, every 2 hours, that lady who goes with a tray with the food, who sells drinks and all kind of small snacks, passed through me and she said, hey, move! I said, hey, what the hell are you doing? And she goes only on one cabin. So she goes back and forth. Luckily, there's so many people, it takes her 2 hours to get from one end to the other. So I managed to catch maybe straight 40 minutes of sleep until that lady comes back. She used to come back every 40 minutes or an hour. I think 2 hours was exaggerated. Then the last 2 hours, there was another station, some people, and then this guy, he was smoking. And I told him, hey, stop smoking, man, I can't breathe. He said, I don't ask you what to do. I said, really? And I was shaved, I was wearing like Shaolin pants, my head was shaved, and I was strong. I was training hard that time. I said, hey, you don't smoke. If you smoke, I open the window. Do whatever you want, he said. I said, really? Okay, no problem. I opened the window and the train was flying. The whole train flew, you know, all the papers, the hairs of the girls. Nobody can, you know, it's cold, it's in the middle of the night. I think it was already like 4 o'clock in the morning or something. It's chilling. Everybody was pissed. So everybody started to shout at this guy with a cigarette, close the fucking cigarette. Don't you see that the whole train is, oh, you close the cigarette, no, we can't, we're not closing the window. But there were too many people complaining about the window. So he closed the cigarette, we closed the window, and I got respect. So some of the guys who saw me sleeping on the floor said, hey, come here, we have a seat for you. And they moved and let me sleep and sit on the chair. I didn't even have a ticket for a chair. And the funny thing is that I had a money bill and I got 6,000 American dollar on my belt. Because I had that money for the whole trip, and also I needed to buy a lot of goods in China and send them to Israel to sell to my students, customers. I was having a little online store selling Chinese martial arts uniforms, equipment, shoes, all kind of stuff. So I was planning to come to the Japan, which is a city next to Shaolin Temple, 10 kilometers away, and there's a big industry there for martial arts goods. So I was planning to buy all the goods I need and then ship them. So I needed that money for it, and some money for Fiji and other places. So I remember I have this kind of money and I can't use it. And a bed can maybe earn $100 only for the whole trip, but I couldn't buy it because it was all full. There was no cabin left, no bed left. There wasn't even a chair left. So the only spot I could get was by standing. Now, I could have stayed another night in Beijing and then take the train next day, but I actually didn't have a place to stay and it was late, and I didn't want to spend another day in Beijing because it's gonna delay the whole trip. So I said, forget it, I'm going. Whether it's good or bad, whether I'm gonna suffer or not, never mind, I'm leaving. And I was suffering, man. It was really bad. It was a bad trip. I mean, it was a good trip, but a bad ride on the train. Then once I got out of the train, after getting some 2 hours of sitting on a chair and getting some orange, they have a lot of oranges. So they gave me some oranges so I can have something to eat. That was nice. They were very kind. I had a nice chat with one of the guys there. He was an engineer. So he said to me, what do you think about the Chinese? He said, what do you mean? I said, what do you think? I said, I don't know. What do you think? So he said, you know what we think? I said, no. We think we are the slave of the West. I said, really? Oh, that was shocking. said, yeah, we are the slave of the West. We work so hard so you guys can enjoy all our goods. We're trying to become an economy empire, controlling the whole merchandise in the world, selling everything you can imagine. So we gotta work. And I said, life is hard. A lot of people having food to eat in their fridge, but they have to work their asses. And we don't like it, but we have no choice. It was an interesting insight. And it was nice to talk to an intellectual engineer who had some basic English. Most Chinese at that time couldn't speak a word. I don't know now because I haven't been to China. Oh yeah, actually I've been to China in 2019 and I think even 2020. Yeah, I went to Hainan and also many times to Guangzhou, but most of them don't speak English. I can tell you that. It's just like Costa Rica, nobody speaks English. There's so many people here and hardly anyone speaks English. Just as I shared with you yesterday, I went to the school and I've been moving from one class to the other. I saw about 300 kids. And only some foreigner kids who stay there can speak English. That they have a mixed families, you know, the father or the mother is a foreigner and then the other side is a local and they can speak some English but also good English. But the rest of the kids, I mean 16, 17, even some 18-year-old kid, and there were like, I didn't see so many 18, but most of the kids there were young, you know, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And those kids couldn't speak a word. I talked to them a little bit of English, like basic, hey, how are you? How are you doing? What's up? Nada. They couldn't say a word. They say hi. Okay. And they all study in school. I mean, they study reading and writing and they have to be tested on it. I don't know in what kind of level, but they are high school kids and they have no clue how to speak. I mean, they have no skills of speaking. So, because they don't practice. And it's the same in many other countries who study English, because once you speak, you can start to communicate, but as long as you don't practice your speaking abilities, the fact that you learn it on the paper is not good enough. You need to learn how to speak. I remember I went to Rosemont College in San Diego in 1989, and I was a foreign student, right? So they put me in a class for foreign students. They told me, oh, your English is pretty good, but at least you do one semester, and if you pass the semester in good grades, we'll move you out of it. You don't have to do it anymore because your English is very good. So I said, okay, no worry. And I had a group of guys coming from, so we were like, I think we were like 10 or, yeah, maybe 10 or 12 people. So there was one guy from Spain, he was like me, speaking fluent English, and the rest were mainly Asians. So there were like Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and I think maybe Taiwanese or Vietnamese. I think Taiwanese. Most of them like Chinese origin, and they couldn't say a word. They were sitting in a class like they're in the silent monastery. We have a silent monastery in Israel on the way to Jerusalem. It's a monastery that you're not allowed to speak. It's a very beautiful monastery, by the way, and you go there and you cannot say a word. And the monks, they don't speak. That's it. Nobody speaks. I don't know how to communicate, and they don't speak. It's called the silent monastery. So they were like, so the class was like that. The teacher comes, he speaks to me and to the other guy, the Spanish guy, and we're holding the whole conversation for the whole session. End the session off, say bye, and then he tried to give the Asians to speak. They can hardly say a word, they're mumbling. Now that teacher was a surfer, so one day I met him on the ocean, in the point, in Ocean Beach Pier, and we were surfing together, having a lot of fun. Then I told him, hey, there's a big swell tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to come. He said, don't worry, I'm not coming too. I said, okay, I'll see you at the lineup. He said, yeah, that's it. And don't worry, I'll give you a straight A because you're surfing good. I said, okay, that's good. So I got a straight A, and half of the classes I wasn't even there, and half of the classes he wasn't there, and we were surfing at the same spot together. So we had a lot of fun talking about surfing the whole lesson because those Asians couldn't say a word, and sometimes the Spanish guy wasn't coming, so I had speaking sessions with my teacher, who was a Californian crazy guy who just wanted to surf. He was an old school surfer. He was surfing a longboard, but he was a nice guy. I mean, really cool guy, and we had a lot of fun. One time we went for a drink, and it was good. And at the end of the semester, he gave me a straight A. So the next semester, I didn't have to study English anymore. It was a good time. Look at the nature, huh? So much green. Have you ever seen a country with so much green? You drive and drive and drive, and there's so much green. This is the school bus, the yellow bus. So I'm heading now to meet my architect and his cute engineer partner. She's a nice lady, young lady, she's very pretty. And they're gonna set everything for me for the construction. It still seems like a dream, you know. I've been dreaming about building my house for over 10 years. Then I bought the land, and then 8 years I can't do it. It's been a while. It's been a long time, and I'm thinking like, where is that gonna happen? You know, and I'm pushing, and I'm pushing, and I'm pushing. It's not happening. I mean, it's moving, you know. Now there's going to be plans in like 3 weeks' time. They're gonna finish the whole plan. Oh, there was a synagogue over there. Interesting. And then later on, they're gonna submit it to the authorities, to the municipalities, so they can approve the permits. Approve it and so I can get the permits. And once I get the permits, I'm actually gonna start. I'll be able to build, and it can happen. This is Jaco. We just got to the main road of Jaco, connect to San Jose. So on the left side, if you go to the left here inside, there's going to be a lot of businesses, houses, and there's a big road parallel to this road that goes along the coast and have lots of shops, malls, tourism attractions, cafe, surf shops, clothes shops, retails, all kinds of stuff. There's a shaper here. His name is Carton. He made a board for me. I mean, he didn't make it for me, but I took it from the stand. But it's a nice board. We got some connection, so hopefully in the future I can do some things with him. I hope. And he built some boards for some world champions and some high-end professionals. Lani, she was in the Olympic, he was in components. And Carlos Munoz, he's a professional surfer that he's in the Pro Tour now. Unfortunately, he got injured in Pipeline in Hawaii, in his shoulder, and right now he's off the tour. But that shaper is a very good shaper, and he's also a nice character. And we had a good chemistry, so I hope. And he liked Arno zait. It's funny, he said to me, I made a magical board. You know, I kept that board in my house. Maybe we can do some replica, and maybe we can do some board for you and get some outlines from that board, some ideas. So, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, that was 15 years ago. It was not. Arno zait was an Israeli guy. I actually was a friend with him. He was younger with me. He was a little punk, but he respected me because I was a national champion and he were like 2-3 years younger than me or more. I think 3 years. And he became a national champion later. And we surfed a lot together, and I gave him some tips, and yeah, we had some good. He was a punk. He was doing a lot of the mess. He didn't take shit from nobody. This guy was a hardcore kid. he did a lot of shit with drugs and stuff, but he was a good guy. I mean, he had a good vibe. Sometimes he fight, he shout, very loud, but always had good energy, crazy energy. So it's good. Oh, there's some waves. You can see the beach from the left here. You can't see it anymore. I can show you that there's some very small swell in the ocean. There's a place here called Playa Hermosa. It's a very strong wave, very steep, good barrel, strong beach bird. One of the strong waves in Costa Rica. Very famous. There's a lot of surfers, good surfers coming from here. So Jaco is a surf town, and there's a lot of industry of surfing here. This is a town that has 6 surf shops, 2 or 3 shakers. Many people who come to, and it's close to San Jose, so it's only 2 hours from the airport. So a lot of surfers who comes to surf in Costa Rica, this is going to be their first stop, and they come here to get all the equipment because not everybody wants to bring his board. Because nowadays, when you take your boards on an airplane, you have to pay about $100 or even more just to get your board on the plane. And sometimes, if the board is not brand new, it costs $6, $7, $8 or $900 even, sometimes $1,000. You probably don't want to bring it, because if it's an old board and you've been surfing it for a few years, the board worth just like the money you pay for the flights. So it's not worth it. There's a nice bay here. You can see the whole bay of Jaco. So there's some waves. I think there's going to be some surfers here out there. Nice. Sunrise, early morning, on the way to San Jose. So today is another morning, and every morning is a new start. I talked about it many times, and I always like to emphasize, every day is a new start. Every day you have a chance. I might have a chance to get a shower. I'm dying for a shower. So every day is a new start, for a new beginning, for a new project, for new ideas. Another day to practice your skills, another day to practice your martial arts, your fitness, your music, your art, your business, your relationship, your eating habits, your driving skills. Every day is a new start, and every day you have to see what you can do a bit better than the day before. You want to improve. I don't know, maybe for me, because I always deal with athleticism, martial arts and surfing, which always have the element of improvement, and then I do calligraphy also. Oh shit, this is not good. So let me get out of this truck. It's a big truck. And every day I practice, right? When I go to surf, I try to surf better. When I practice martial arts, I try to improve some aspects and learn some new things, develop new things. Because I'm developing Taifushin, which is a new style of fighting. I'm developing for like the past 20 years, but it's okay. It needs more time even. So every time I try to find new ideas, new way of doing things, new techniques, new teaching methods. So I'm living a life that always have element of improvement. I guess most people like that, because once you grow, you want to improve. But I don't know if it's rooted in the nature of every person. Maybe it's something that is a matter of education. And the next thing is for me that I'm very disciplined, because I'm doing a disciplined hobbies, we can say, that became my profession as well. So when you are always disciplined to train harder, to do better, to improve your skill, your ability, your appearance, your body, your mind, every day that you wake up, it's like you have a goal, you have a target, you have a mission to accomplish. You are you're a driven person. You are a goal-driven person. Sometimes very small ones, sometimes bigger ones. Some goals require a lot of planning and a lot of executions and a lot of details in the process. Some goals are very fast, achieving, reaching, completing goals that you can get in a short. Oh, look at that! It looks like smoke, but actually it's the cloud. Maybe you can have a chance to see it. It's just behind the trees, and the sun is pretty strong in the eyes. I can see it. There's maybe not. Oh yeah, no. I think now you're gonna see it. If you're lucky and you turn to the left, there might be a chance to see the view of the mountain with the clouds in the mountain. This is one of the most beautiful things that I can say I see in Costa Rica every morning on an early morning drive. So we're going downhill, so it becomes very silent. Vacuum in your ears. So every day that you wake up and you have a chance to improve yourself in so many fields, you can be nicer to your customers, you can be more kind to people on the street, you can be more patient for the outside and to yourself. You can learn how to contain the pressure and things that, did you see that? Between the mountains? Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Now check it out. We're going to turn and you're going to have a wide view of those clouds inside the mountain. Can you see? How beautiful, huh? So this is happening a lot. There's those big clouds and they fill up the mountain. And then the sun rises above. And it's all become bright. Can't see much now. Can't see the phone anymore. Can see the road as well. And that sight is so pretty, in my opinion. That white in the green. You can see a little bit like a mist. Very mystical. I saw it also in China. In Shaolin temple area, there's a lot of mountains, and sometimes early morning you can see the clouds. I love it to see. Also in the winter, when the sun comes out, there's some temperature differences between the air outside, the clouds, and the sun start to warm it. Yeah, it's beautiful. This is a nice drive, I think. There's some cars, but the road is pretty and there's a lot of green everywhere. A little bit of places to fed. Yeah, so you have to think about this is a roof tent, you see. So you have to think about that. The fact that you can change. That every day you have a chance not only to start new things and to improve yourself, but you have a chance to create new starts. And you can also have a chance to change some old habits or things that you've done and didn't lead you to a good results. You have to think about it, you know. We're doing things. Everybody do things. Every day we do something, you know. And sometimes the results are not good, right? You know? You want to achieve a certain thing and you get another thing. You want to get to somewhere and you get to another place by mistake. So you have to think to yourself, what was wrong? So if you have a GPS and you just key the wrong address, you know what's wrong. But when you do something that you're not sure what you did wrong, because you thought that this is the right way, and you really put all your good heart, intention, effort, and the result was not satisfying, and sometimes even the opposite. You got the opposite of what you want, or you think it's not going to be too hard because maybe you want to create a reaction or something, and you know it's going to have some struggle, but you didn't expect it to be so bad. Now, if you get something so bad, you have to ask yourself, what did I do that I got it so bad? Maybe I didn't read the situation well. Maybe I didn't plan well. Maybe I didn't execute well. Maybe I performed bad. Maybe, and there's so many question marks just on that question mark on that whole big sign. There's a lot of question marks to ask about many things that happen in our lives. Whether it's relationship, whether it's business, whether it's achievement. So you eat bad, you get a diarrhea. You eat bad, you get a fat stomach. You get another kg of fat in your body. You eat bad, you have lack of energy. So it's very obvious. So I ate bad today. So these are the consequences. You have the right to do it. Some of us eat bad every day. All day, many years. That's why we look like that. Sorry, I'm not looking like that anymore, but for a while, for a few good years. And some get to obesity and to overweight that is also dangerous to their existence. They might die from a heart attack, from diabetes, or other diseases that can come from overweight. I mean, talking about serious overweight. So this is something that okay, I ate bad, this is going to be the result, and I'm willing to pay the consequences. I don't care, because I'm weak, I'm not disciplined enough, and I fall for my desires. But you are content with it, you agree to it, so you bear the consequences. But sometimes, if I tell you, hey, you're going to open a business, that business is going to fail, you're going to lose all your money, and not only that, your health is going to be bad, and you might lose your house. Are you going to open that business? No. Are you kidding me? Are you nuts? Of course not. And I tell you, you see this girl, you're going to meet this girl, you're going to fall in love with her, you're going to marry her, and then you're going to get divorced from her, and she's going to give you hell, and she try to put you in jail. Are you going to go with that girl? No. No way. All right, so if you know the results, you much easier, right? You know, okay, I'm not going to talk to that girl. Holy shit, I'm not going to open that business forever. No way. I'm not going to lose my house. But you don't know, because there's a lot of question marks. And if we would know the future, oh, that's nice. People exercising, cycling in the morning. That's always a nice sight. It's just very dangerous. Some of them get accident, and this is terrible. All the driver in the world, if you're hearing my vlog, of course none of you hear it, but please drive safe and don't risk the other people that use the same path as you, road. Some will be cycling, some will be motorbikes, some will be trespassing, just crossovers, and maybe a kid who just ran after his ball, maybe a cat, maybe an animal. So you gotta drive safe, and you gotta pay attention and be alert, so in case there's an emergency, you'll be able to react. Don't look at your phone, don't do other things while you're driving. And I tell you the truth, I'm not telling you that to you guys, I'm telling it to myself, because I do all the wrong and the bad mistakes that you can imagine while I'm driving. So now I'm in a new country, and I'm trying to change my habits of driving, because I'm driving very bad most of the time. Not here in Costa Rica actually, because I really try to avoid it, but I was a very bad driver in Israel, and I think even in Singapore I wasn't driving very well, especially when you drive to the other side of the street and the steering wheel is on the right hand side and everything is opposite, and you drive on the left side of the road. But I'm trying to change. I'm trying to be more, concentrated, focused on the road. Don't do any unnecessary things like vlogging now. That's different, because I don't look at anything. I just look at the road and I just speak, and it passes my time. Actually, I kind of like it's some kind of a hobby. Actually, I know it sounds funny to you, right? I don't get any money out of it, and it's hard work to edit it and do all that. but I find it interesting to talk, and I'm improving the skills, so I'm practicing. So if you know the outcome, what are you going to do? Now, people who are traders or economists, they always try to predict the outcome, looking at the economy, looking at the weather, looking at the market, and then they invest money or gamble money, or gamble other people money if he's a broker in Wall Street, for example. But they gamble on facts. So when they have the facts, they can decide what to do with it. How much to invest, when to bring in, when to pull out, and when to take actions, when to do a change, and how to calculate the investment well so they don't lose and make money out of it. So when you open a business, or when you do anything that got to do with achievement, you have to calculate, number one, the risk, number two, the effort needed to be put, number three, the resources, money, manpower, equipment. Is it something that you can have on hand here in the country, or something that you have to import? Do you have to invent something that does not exist even? Which is also a very important part of development, especially for people who are in the industry, any kind of industry, and they want to develop something new. So they're actually bringing to the world something that hasn't been existed yet. So it takes more time, more thinking, more money, more people sometimes. So every time you want to do something, you have to ask yourself, what are the chances to make it? And what are the things you need to do in order to do it? And if it's something that's going to last for a long time, is that what you want to do? If that is what you want to do, I mean, like, you have an idea, okay, I'll do that and that, and then you have to think this, then you have to see yourself, okay, then you're going to be the worker maybe, you're going to be the product some of the time. Is it something that you want to do? Is it something that you're willing to do? Is this how you picture yourself? It's like my wife, she opened a cafe, and she was a general manager for a high-end company, for advertising company, and she had about 40, 50 people under her giving orders, dealing with millions of dollars of big brands like Gucci and Nokia and Pringles and M&M's and SK2 and Olay and all kind of cosmetic products, downhill, Chivas, all kind, Gillette, and big brands. And they do all the advertising in Southeast Asia. She worked in China and Singapore and other places, and she's controlling a big operation and need to make sure that this operation will lead to enough profits, and she have goals to reach that her boss is giving her. Okay, this quarter you have to reach a certain $1 million, this quarter you have to reach a certain amount of money, this quarter you have to reach, and at the end of the year you have to reach that target. And if you don't hit the target, maybe you're not doing it. That put a lot of pressure on her, on her team, on her staff. They all have to perform, and then she has to quit. Sometimes, you lose clients, then you have to get new clients. And then she opened a cafe, and suddenly she's giving coffee to people. Because a $5, $10 an hour, $8 or $6, whatever, worker doesn't come to work. You're sick, you don't feel like, and this is not a good road, and there's other cars on the other side, I can't navigate. Damn. So other people not coming to work, and you find yourself do the job. Now, if you're a general manager and you get paid and you're an employee, you don't do other people's job. You don't care. But when you own your own business, you do everything. Because if the customer comes and there's nobody to give him coffee, and you are there, you're going to give him coffee. And you will have to clear the tables, and you will have to wash the dishes. And you just invested $100,000 on a business, and you are serving people for $5 an hour as your worker, or $8 an hour, whatever. And there's no choice. You're going to do a job of $40, $50 a day when you're supposed to make $1,000 a day. And not only that, your business is not making it, and not only you are not making $1,000 a day, or your income, or your gross income of the cafe, whatever, you are losing money every month. And you might be bankrupt and lose all your savings, and lose all your business, and all your investment as well. And you have no choice. You have to serve coffee, wash dishes, bring stuff, bring supply, talk to the suppliers, and you find yourself working 15 hours a day, or 16, 17 hours a day, non-stop, no rest, no sleep, no life, because you wanted to open a business. And you didn't calculate all the things that comes along with it, because there's so many things and so many small details that you can't even imagine how many. Not able to build this cafe and get all the equipment, set up a kitchen, train the workers, set up the menu, bring new dishes to the cafe, help with the promotion, help with the advertising a little bit, help with the graphic designs. I mean, I didn't do the graphic design, but helping with the text. We brought some Israeli dishes into the place, talking to suppliers, getting equipment. Sometimes technical stuff, the gate, the shutter gate of the cafe, don't close. Yeah, please come, we cannot close the cafe. Hey, it's 12 o'clock at night or 11, I'm tired. I've been awake since 5 o'clock. Yeah, what do you want me to do? I can't close the cafe. Okay, I'm coming. So I go. And then I'm going there with some tools, and I have to figure it out, how to do it. And then I do it, and then I realize somebody broke the fridge lock. And the fridge is out to the freezer, and then the freezer is outside, and I need to get the freezer and fix it. So I go out, and I fix the freezer, and then I tell the guys, hey, don't do it again. The next day I come, it's the same. Because that guy I was talking to didn't come the next day, and then somebody else came, and he broke the freezer and locked it again. And here you go. You have to deal with it again. All kind of stuff like that you cannot predict. So we call that unpredicted situation in a business. And there's loss in business. So when you open a business, there's so many things. And you have to ask yourself, this is what I want to do. Because you will have to do some of the things within the business that you don't want to do, that you're not planning to do. You didn't plan to be the dishwasher or the wash dishes man. You weren't planning to be the cleaner of the toilet in your own business. You were not thinking you're going to do it, but you might do it. Because if the guy who cleans doesn't want to clean. She had 2 guys from India who were cleaning her cafe every night. Then one day they said, we're not running anymore. She said, why? She said, we don't want. So why? We just don't want. We have too much work, and this is too much for us. Nothing to do with the money. We do not. We work from in the morning. If we need a little bit of more money, but coming at 8:30, 9 to clean your place and go home at 10 o'clock at night after being from 5 o'clock in the morning. A Porsche in Costa Rica? Really? Seriously? Oh, that was cool. That's the first Porsche I've seen in Costa Rica. All right. Not bad. You don't want to go to performance, I can promise you that. Your Porsche will not last longer. Even though it's a strong car. So this is the first sports car, a real sports car in a Porsche. I think it was maybe Targa or maybe 911 Boxster. Yeah, cool. I'm not that. Porsche is one of my favorite cars. I love the Porsche Boxster. I hope one day I'll buy it. And in Singapore there's so many, but you know, I like the wheel on the left side and driving on the right side. And I want the gear shift to be in my right hand because I'm right-handed. I don't want to drive a Porsche with my left hand on the gear. Sorry, no. I want to drive it on the right side and with my right gear shift on my right hand. So I said I'm not going to buy a Porsche in Singapore. Which is also crazy because you can buy a house with that money. So it was very surprising seeing a Porsche here in Costa Rica. There might be more, but it means that if you see a Porsche in Costa Rica, that says a lot about what's happening in the country. And you can see the roads are really good. When I drive this truck in Pavones, it shakes like hell. I have these two lines at the back, metal bars, and they're shaking inside the metal, and they make so much noise. I'm going to put silicone to tomorrow. I'm going to go to the garage, or today later on, I'm going to go to the garage and get some silicone. I'm going to stop here for a little morning breakfast, I think. A little break of driving. And those bars make so much noise. So here on that road, they don't make any noise at all. And that means that the roads are good. And when the roads are so good, and people with money can get a Porsche and drive those roads, you know, that's a good sign. I'm not talking well. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop. We're talking for an hour. I've been talking for an hour. I don't know about you. If you're listening for an hour, because you know, I told you my style of speaking. I can talk about all kind of nonsense, and then I get to the point. It's like a foreplay. You know, you gotta warm yourself up before you get into the main dish. Alright guys, take care. Alright, so we are here somewhere, I don't know where. There's a gas station here and there's soda. Soda is like a little cafe. We sell probably some traditional food, rice and beans and some meat early morning. I'm not really up to rice and beans, but Costa Rica dishes. Yeah, another day. My car is a mess. It's really clean actually. It's a bit messy. Yesterday I went to the guy who cleaned my car. It was 2 weeks ago. Super beautiful. And this guy, he's very tall. He owns the building. He works himself. And I owed him like a $5. I didn't have it at the time. I said, oh, never mind, next time you come. I said, and I came special to give him the $5. $1 bill is $5. It's small money. Here's a condominium. I gave him something, but he didn't appreciate something. But he appreciated that I came specially and I gave him the $5. And my car was totally a mess because I drove in the corners. There was a lot of mud and the whole mud splashes all over my car. So I said, is it possible that you just give a little quick wash just to take off the mud? Because I always have to do that in the car. I said, yeah, no problem. Give it a quick wash. And to the somebody else pay the same money. Like, why would I? I told him, in a month and a half time, or after I finish my work at the beach, I'm coming again. So I was like, God, $40, $45, whatever. You're gonna put like oil on the chassis. Take care of my car. So I'm happy. I know I have a place. It's not cheap, man. He turned your car all over. I mean, he cleaned it, he bring it up, he cleaned all the parts, he all the little grease, he cleaned the engine. The car is so clean after he's doing his job. Amazing. And he did it by himself. Okay. For sure. I like to work with people that if they give you a good service, I never go. You know, I never leave them. I always go and support them. Not only the friendship, but also, you know, you support the business and you become his client and you take care of him, you know. And that's how it is. Same for me. I have some students that stay with me like 20, 30 years. They don't study anymore with me. I understand that. They're always going on. They go over to school. They go around. I'm moving to one place together, so I can't blame them. I'm the one to blame because I'm the one who moves and change all the time. Oh, that's a beautiful fucking there.